October 10th, 2022. You know what else it is? It's motherfucking Columbus Day. Columbus Day! I didn't realize that. And I've had this package that I've been meaning to send a friend of mine for a while now. I've actually been kind of collecting different things that I wanted to send him, and I just figured at this point, just send him one big honking box with everything in it. It's just easier. That way I'm not making multiple trips to the post office, and I'll save on postage, and he's going to get everything. None of it's, anything that's time sensitive, and I needed to get this, I needed to get that. I just thrown a little bit of everything in there for him. Nothing special, but just some stuff I wanted to send to a friend. Well, with my work schedule, working 7 days a week, pretty much every week, and working 12 hours a day, almost every day, I just haven't made the time to get down to the post office. And, it's a little bit easier to go to UPS because it's on the way to work. There are 2 post offices on the way to work, but they're literally jam-packed all the time. So it makes more sense for me to go to my local post office that isn't jam-packed all the time, but that takes me out of my way. It actually takes less time to drive out of my way to my local post office and then backtrack to work than it is to stop at either one of these bigger post offices on the way to work. But UPS would be easier for me because that's on the way to work. It's the most convenient, and there usually isn't a line there, right? And sometimes it's cheaper than the post office. However, my asshole friend has a P.O. box because he either doesn't want me to know where he lives or he's afraid somebody's going to steal shit off his front porch, whatever. So I'm kind of forced to use the post office if I want to send him anything. So here I am, trying to get to the post office. I'm trying to get in early today. I'm going to pull a 12-hour shift. I'm trying to get in early today so I'm not there too late tonight. And I'm like, fuck it. I guess I'll just get in a little later and stay a little later. I need to do this. I pull up, and there's a silver Equinox with a handicap placard on it parked right in front of the fucking door. It's another one of these old motherfuckers who think they fucking own everything. I see this all the time at my post office. These old fuckers will pull up in front of the post office instead of parking. They have handicapped spaces close to the door. But nope, they're entitled, right? This is what happens. They're fucking collecting money that I'm fucking paying into that I won't get, but they can also park in front of the fucking door. Anyhow, old guy comes out with a box. He goes, "There's nobody in there." I'm like, what? He goes, "There's nobody in there." I go, "But the doors are unlocked." Well, they have P.O. boxes in the lobby, so the lobby should be unlocked most of the time for that, right? So I suddenly realize it's October. I bet it's fucking Columbus Day. I go, "It's Columbus Day." He goes, "Columbus Day? Fuck! It's Columbus Day." I'm bitching all the way back to my truck. These lazy, entitled fuckers at the post office get the day off paid, but I gotta go into work. Yeah, that's right. It's a federal fucking holiday. And even though the post office workers aren't all federal employees, some of them, a lot of them, I think these days are contract employees. It's the whole point. This is the motherfucking post office. The organization of the government that's supposed to pay their own bills, right? The wage or the revenue they generate from postage and stuff is supposed to pay all their operational costs. Yeah, right. Bullshit. Anyhow, they're constantly raising postage and doing other retarded shit that makes it harder and harder for you to use the post office. They're getting lazier about how far they're willing to go to drive and drop stuff off. They used to drop stuff off at the shipping dock with everybody else. Now it's like, nope, you got to have a mailbox out front because we ain't driving back there. That takes 3 more minutes or whatever. This is their new policy, right? Well, it isn't really new. They started it like more than 10 years ago. But the whole point is, it's like, if you don't have an existing blah, 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 then you're a new building. We're not dropping it at your shipping dock. It's like, that's great for commercial businesses. Really good, assholes. Lazy motherfuckers. Anyhow, yeah, I've made other videos bitching about the post office. I'm going to do some more bitching about the post office. You don't like it? Turn off the video. Regardless, they're lazy enough as is, and they're constantly jacking up postage to the point where they're not even necessarily competitive with UPS or FedEx anymore. Yeah, maybe we should contract out the entire fucking post office to a private business and let them handle it, right? But they're going to take today off. And I can't take this motherfucking box to UPS or FedEx because they don't deliver to P.O. boxes. So I've got to go back tomorrow now. Yeah, after scrambling around all morning, I got to go back tomorrow. Columbus Day. Oh, by the way, I go to my Google Calendar and it shows it's Columbus Day, right? It also says it's Indigenous Peoples Day. What is this? Some sort of fucking left-wing, socialist, progressive way to fight back against colonialism, right? Here's the thing. If Columbus or those other explorers hadn't come to the New World, we wouldn't have the United States of motherfucking America. We are the only superpower left, and we are the nation that is responsible for freedom on this planet for the past 100 motherfucking years. So quit with all your pushback about how the Europeans came over and killed all the savages and all this other stuff. Look, here's the thing. Times were different back then. That's just the way it was. As a matter of fact, imperialism is kind of at its last dying breath. Russia invading Ukraine is kind of a form of imperialism. But and China threatening to take Taiwan is still a form of imperialism, you could say, to a certain point. But look at all the countries through agreements and treaties and pressure have given up their territories. America gave up the Philippines and the Panama Canal Zone. Britain gave up gave up Hong Kong, right? And things like that. And there are more and more. I could go on. All these examples that have happened in the 20th and 21st century where these imperialist nations who this is their property, this is their sovereign soil, have made a choice to give up certain places that were theirs. Legally, lawfully, I don't care how they obtained them. If they went in there and killed everybody, or they just planted their flag and go, this is ours. And property has changed hands a lot through wars and other things, right? That's just the way it was. I'm kind of okay with imperialism. If you can't defend your sovereign soil and somebody takes you over, I guess that's your dumb luck, motherfucker. You should have been ready for it. This is the same sort of thing about, situational awareness and taking the steps to make sure that things don't happen to you when you're out in public, out conducting business that you need to conduct. You need to be responsible for your own safety because you can't count on the government to save you. Well, in the same sense, if your government isn't prepared for a full-scale invasion, then I guess your ass is asking to get invaded, motherfucker. So I'm okay with imperialism, unlike all these leftards. Oh, it's so wrong, it's so evil, blah, blah, blah. Whatever, all right? But that was the past. It isn't so much the present, and when we judge the past by present standards, present values, present technology, present information, we are judging it out of ignorance. And we are also not thinking clearly. If Columbus and those other explorers didn't come here, you fucking latte drinking dumbass motherfucker, you wouldn't be alive today. You wouldn't be alive today. It's just like all the people go, we stole the land from the Native Americans. Hold up. First off, they're Indians, all right? Secondly, okay, they're not native. They came over from Asia, so they're not really native, okay? They were stealing land from each other. Even after we came over here and either conned them out of the land, took the land from them, or did whatever, you can call it underhanded, whatever way, they were still fighting each other over land, okay? And enslaving each other and all this other shit. So don't just say it was just us and they were so benign and just so benevolent and just so, it's like, no. Everybody's been doing this, okay? When we went into Iraq the second time, in one of the cities, they put up the American flag like Iwo Jima. The Marines did it to try to relive the whole Iwo Jima thing. And one of the officers said, take that flag down. And good thing they had an officer there to do that, because the enlisted guys didn't understand. But because of the officers' training and the information they had and the fact that they're a leader, they understood. They said, we're not here as conquerors. This isn't our land. We're not taking this. We took Iwo Jima. That became ours. We eventually gave it back to Japan. But it was ours. And it was right to raise our flag on Suribachi. But it wasn't right to raise our flag in that Iraqi town, because we were liberators. We weren't taking we weren't conquering or taking or occupying, right? Even though there was sort of an occupation, call it what you will. Regardless, this Indigenous Peoples Day, that's a load of horse shit. And Columbus Day isn't necessarily about Columbus himself as much as it's about these European explorers that came over here, and despite the douchebaggery, thank goodness they did. Because Europe is still a motherfucking mess. And if all of us and our DNA was still over there, who the hell knows what would be going on today? Would Nazi Germany have happened? And would they have taken over all that and held it? Do you see what I mean? But these dumbasses don't think about that when they say, "Oh, we've got to vilify Columbus, and we've got to have this Indigenous Peoples Day." The people on North and South America who you want to call indigenous aren't indigenous to North and South America. Learn your science, learn your history, and fucking get a clue. Columbus Day has been around for a long time. It's tradition, and there's nothing offensive about it. If you want to start Indigenous Peoples Day, you have the right to do that. But the post office shouldn't get the day off for either one of them. I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. Fuck you, and fuck them. Shouldn't get the day off. I gotta go to work, they gotta go to work. Which is gonna bring me to my final point. As far as I know, the only employer around here that gives Veterans Day off is the United Auto Workers. So if you're actually in the union, you know, which is the first tier employees or the older guard employees, it's not the newer employees, you get Veterans Day off paid. But pretty much everybody else around here doesn't give Veterans Day off paid. Or at least have a clause that says if you're a veteran and you can prove it, you get the day off paid. Some of these companies will give you your birthday off paid. You know that? That's fucking retarded. 50-year-old man getting his birthday off paid. Gee, can I get a cake too, boss? That's just gay as shit, okay? But the fact that Veterans Day is a federal fucking holiday, and the post office gets it off, and the United Auto Workers get it off, and a lot of federal employees who aren't veterans get it off, but I don't get that day off paid. It's just bullshit. I'm not saying I'm not going to go into work that day. I can burn a vacation day if I want to on that day. Maybe I will one of these days. But the thing is, it's just like, some of this is just a load of bullshit. I got a box to ship. You guys are constantly bitching that you need to raise prices. Maybe if you showed up to work, you wouldn't need to do that. Maybe you could actually compete with FedEx or UPS. Also, P.O. boxes suck. They do. I understand why people have them. I used to have one, but they suck, okay? Alright, that's enough for this video. It's gone on long enough. Thanks for listening to me, bitch. Happy Indigenous Peoples Day. Belated, because I'll be publishing this after the fact. Thanks for listening.